We actually do. We actually spend a lot of time. In fact,
Really?
the older I get, the more important I see that as being. So we actually take some days off of practice. We went this year on a Saturday. We went to one of the guys' parents have a cottage on a lake nearby, spent the day talking about trust and communication and accountability, how you hold one another accountable for behavior or their actions or those kind of things. And
so this is almost like a small group kind of thing.
It is,
kind
very
of like
much.
Not only a basketball team, but also a brotherhood, if you will.
Very much. In fact, we just took a Friday off and went bowling, and we could maybe use some lessons from the young man bowling as we right there.
Yeah.
We weren't real good at that. We're better basketball players than bowlers. But then we had an alum another Friday here. We just had a former player from the 70s by the name of Doug Tejas, who has a successful real estate company, and came and talked about faith, really challenged us in our faith growth and our walk with Christ, and how the lessons that you learn in athletics can be applied in a lot of places. So those are some of the things we do.
Great. Well, that definitely helps to explain why the Calvin team seems so tight. I don't know if this is something that other teams do also, but I can certainly see that on the court when they play. There's something there, and the way the players interact before the games and after the games, and
yeah, it's something we work at. Certainly, it's not it's not magical. You don't snap your fingers and all of a sudden everything's perfect. Yeah. But we work at it, and I think those are some great lessons for us to learn.
Great. Well, Coach, thanks so much for your input. We'll be sure to promote the games and get people out on the court. I'll be there for sure. I promise I'll come to at least one game.
You could even come and say hello before the game if you wanted.
I might.
Fine. So
I might just do that.
16th, 17th November, we have our tip-off tournament. We have the #1 team in the nation in the house, and it should be a lot of fun.
All right, guys, you heard it. The 16th and the 17th of November. Be there in the field house, correct?
Correct.
In the field house to watch the tip-off. Thank you very much, guys. Thanks, Coach. We'll be right back with the coach of the girls basketball team, Coach John Ross, right after this.
CVN, we have good workers, we have clean environment. Environment cleans you, And so I hear from my friend Heinrich, he says, come over, Hans, come over. And I say, only if I bring Dieter. Only Dieter must come. And when Dieter comes, then we join CVN. And CVN makes film explosion. Film comes streaming through us like bronze goddesses of Apollo.
Our next guest is also a native of Wisconsin. He's both the women's basketball head coach and the men's tennis head coach. Ladies and gentlemen, Coach John Ross. Good to have you, Coach. You're welcome. We can rock after this for a while. Thanks, guys. Thanks. Hey, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I noticed you were on your phone when you came out.
Well, I'm on the phone quite often, but I was on the phone checking the Wisconsin-Ohio State football game going on. And
ooh, is it a big thing?
It's a big game, but except for Ohio State's up by 14 now, 31-17. But it's probably because I'm not there and I had to have basketball practice today. I was about 6 years ago. I was at the Wisconsin-Ohio State game, sitting in the front row, rooting for the Badgers, and the Badgers came back from a halftime deficit and upset Ohio State. So you imagine in a big place of 100,000 people, and there's only about 1,000 cheeseheads sitting over there in one corner.
And you're thinking, it's me. I did it.
It was me. So
good stuff. Good stuff. Well,
Did
hey,
you know that Coach Ross was raised by wolves in northern Wisconsin? It's come a long way this time.
I mean, that makes sense, I guess.
It does make sense if you know my life, probably.
Okay, well, tell me what you do at Calvin. I know I've seen you around. I think I may have even, when I was a freshman, attended something with you. I don't know, some kind of weightlifting, something or other. I don't know. Just tell me what you do. Do you teach as well as coach?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people think I spend a lot of time in the weight room, you know, working out with some dumbbells and stuff, and
Dumbbells like this kid.
some dumbbells in there, lift. But I also, you know, besides coaching the men's tennis team and the women's basketball team, I do teach physical education classes, which could include tennis, basketball, and weight training. And this year, which I think was a real rewarding experience, I taught a prelude class. I was a little hesitant at first, but I really enjoyed it. I think it's something that I want to continue to do.
Cool. Awesome. Well, congratulations with that. I got some sports questions here for you.
Okay.
Yeah, as I told Coach Vande Streek over here, I'm not a sports guy myself. I don't follow sports. I don't really. Sports is just not my thing, man. But anyway, we have these from. You're gonna have to tell me his name again. Bruce.
I know Bruce.
Bruce. Okay, you know Bruce.
Bruce. I tell you, Bruce. You know, he's a Bears fan, and and
careful. There's a lot of guys on my floor that are Bears fans.
And you know, we're Packer fans over here, and we're very upset the way the Packers played. You know, a few Monday nights ago, and it was a Sunday night, wasn't it? And Coach Vande Streek and I both came in the office the next day, and you know, this guy's usually to sleep by about 9 a.m. or 9 p.m. and I'm usually to sleep about midnight, and he's coming in. We're both grumpy the next morning. He's like, I didn't get sleep till 1, and I didn't get sleep till 1 either. We were both so upset the way the Packers played that second half. But we got to forgive Bruce for being a Bear fan, and we're trying to work with him and see what we can do.
They just weren't brought up right. Can you say?
Yeah, not brought up by the Wolves, right?
Not brought up by the Wolves.
There's no loyalty. Loyalty of the past.
They don't stick together, right? Well, he's the, I guess he writes some sports things for the Chimes. And so we asked him, since I'm woefully inadept at coming up with sports questions, he wrote a couple of sports questions for us. So I think this one is about basketball, which you coach. How do you replace Calvin's all-time scoring and rebounding leader in Lisa Winkle?
You don't. I mean, there's just, you just don't. I mean, Lisa was, you know, I have been coaching since I'm 24. I'm 41 now, and a lot of those times I've coached 2 to 3 teams in a year. And Lisa is the greatest, not only the greatest player that I've ever coached, but the greatest person, and just a strong Christian and a wonderful individual. I mean, you can't replace her for what she did as a leader, and it's just a huge void to fill. But I mean, I thank Lisa for, you know, the 4 years that we were able to spend together, and we're just going to have to dig down a lot harder without her, and it's going to take an effort. You know, I don't know what the rest of your questions are, but right now we are really banged up. I mean, last night we had JVs and varsity practicing together, and I mean, there's 7 people out with some type of an injury. Wow. You know, Marcia Harris, our leading scorer from last year, and Christy Brumwell, our 3rd leading scorer, both all conference players, both tore their ACL in the conference championship, and you know, they're still recovering. So it's going to take, you know, 14 people, 15 people, how many ever people we can find to dress for us to replace that. But you cannot replace Lisa Winkle, and I just hope and pray that at some point, you know, as with Kevin and I mean, we were called both to Calvin College, and I hope someday, you know, she gets a calling to come back here and help our program out. Right. You know, whether it's helping me or, you know, maybe she'll be the next coach at some point. But it's an unbelievable person.
Well, both Marcia Harris and Christy Brummel are coming back from ACL injuries. Are they back 100%?
No, they're not. They're not. I mean, they can't practice every day. We had Marcia take a day off on Wednesday and Christy take a day off on Thursday, and Christy noticed some swelling in her legs. So it's gonna take some time, and we have a scrimmage next week, and we may play them 15-20 minutes. And the tough part, when our season opens up in Cincinnati in a couple weeks, we play Friday, Saturday, and we play the following Tuesday, and that's a lot to ask from those 2 key players. But I give a lot of the rest of our team credit. You know, some of these kids work really, really hard in the off season, and you know, I told them today, I said, you know, we haven't talked about defining any roles, which is something you usually do sometimes when tryouts, you know, during your week of tryouts, and define roles. And I told them today, I said, it's going to take every one of you to get us through this season, and you better be ready to play.